by the wayside and causing events like 2-year-old crypto Twitter accounts to fire up and post about the pending all-time high of 2020 and the apparent bull market that we apparently are in. Well, in my opinion, we aren't out of the woods yet. So find out in today's episode how best to protect your Bitcoin position in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin.
I'm Joseph Abadi from Blockchain Economics, and you're watching Breaking Bitcoin.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live here in the studio. Today is going to be January. It is. Of course it's January. It's Tuesday, January the 7th, 2020, New Year. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. This is, of course, your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for traders. My name is Justin Wise, the lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. And I want to give a big shout out to all of you watching on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, and on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. Make sure to support the show by subscribing or giving us a follow on whatever platform you happen to be watching. We've got a fantastic show for you guys today. We're obviously going to be talking about the explosive price action of Bitcoin, breaking it down, kind of hearing between the noise, right? Peeling between the layers of noise and looking for the best possible setups, looking at what the strategies are telling us to do, how we're managing this from a perspective of our system. And we're also going to be talking about decentralized finance, the Ethereum MakerDAO network, and Compound. We've got some interesting information coming in there and a potential sign to not count Ethereum out for 2020, to not count Ethereum out for 2020. We're also going to be talking about, what are we going to be talking about? Oh, we're going to be talking about the Bitfiniex Whale that we reported on just a while ago, how he was down a significant amount of money. Well, how the pendulums swing, my friend, how the pendulums swing, soaring back to the top of the leaderboard. We're going to break all that down and much, much more. Take your chart requests and answer your questions in today's segment. So feel free to pop your questions in the live chat. Let me know how you guys are doing. The moderators will grab the questions and put them in the Q&A section. I'll answer them to the best of my ability towards the end of the show. Before we begin, I want to thank today's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to go check them out at spectresecurity.io. And as we do every day on this channel, let's go give away some crypto to a loyal follower and a commenter over there on the YouTubes. All right, so here we are in the live scene. Now, we just need to go and grab the URL from yesterday's video. We need to grab the URL from yesterday's video, which, I've never seen a video just get 100,000 on the nose views, but we did so yesterday. We seemed to pull it off. Maybe it was the white sweater. I don't know. You guys let me know. Loading the comments. What is the error here? Oh, our regular YouTube comment winner isn't working. Let's try a hard refresh. Sorry guys. This is what live looks like. Okay. Let's try a YouTube random comment picker. Let's just see what DuckDuckGo plucks from the ether for me. We've got a comment picker over here. Let's try this. Paste. Get YouTube comments. Interesting. It says the comments have been disabled. YouTube, are you out to get me? Is YouTube out to get me? I'll tell you what, let's just do it manually. Let's go to yt.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. That doesn't seem like comments have been disabled. Hey, I know that guy. Let's see here. That's not a real comment. We've got DMD, Bird, Manish Patel, EST Network, Der Cryptomeister, Ricky Thompson, and Wayne Arndt. So on a piece of paper, I see we've got DMD, Bird, Manish Patel, EST Network, and Der Cryptomeister, Ricky Thompson. Let's see here. DMD. We've got Bird. We've got Manish. We've got EST. And we've got Der. And Ricky Thompson. And we'll do and Wayne. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see this. Obviously you can't because I don't have my camera on, but I've just grabbed a notepad and I've written random numbers between 1 and 10 next to each one of these. And when I pull open the live chat, I am going to randomly select the first person that I see to select the comment, or to pick a number between 1 and 10, and that is the individual that will win. On the fly, this is the best way that I can do it, so let's hope that we pull this off successfully. So I'm going to pull open the live chat right now, and the first person that I see, hold on, I got to refresh the page. I'm going to pick the first thing, the lowest chat. The lowest chat is Cryptonomics. Pick a random number between 1 and 10 and help somebody win big today, my friend. Congratulations to the winner in advance. But I see Ron Legato, Wayne Arndt, Jose Caneta, Saintsy, Zulu. We've got Agency. We've got Profit Bear, Don Candon, Mac W, Barbod. How are we all doing today? Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We've got a great show. Happy bull market. Okay. So let's cover the firsts. People just jumping in with numbers. It's got to be Cryptonomics. No, I got the numbers right here, guys. I need it to be Mr. Cryptonomics. And he picked 7. Where'd that pen go? 7 was Manish. I don't know if you guys can see that, if that's fair. Back here, it looks like it's getting overexposed, but yeah. Manish is number 7. So I'm probably mispronouncing that too. I'm sorry, man. But Manish, get a hold of me in the Discord and I will tip you some crypto, my friend. Congratulations. I'll try to get that YouTube comment picker fixed. Thank you, Jamie. Highly appreciated. Da Vinci in the house. What's going on, my friend? Okay. So let's start off as we do on the daily. We'll talk about a few things. So yesterday at yesterday's daily close, took the PTP long signal. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't want to, because where are we at? We're in the area where my primary discretionary trade had wanted to activate. And last night, as the daily candle closed, took the long position. Don Cannon, thank you for the 20 crones. I look quite pensive. Is everything okay? Probably just too much caffeine, my friend. Probably just too much caffeine. Oh, shoot. Anyways, so yesterday at the daily close, let's get our regular PTP system booted up over here. So yesterday at the daily close, we kind of have some interesting things. We have a qualifying trade. Actually, what's interesting is that the primary signal would have come in over here on the 3rd of January, 2020. We were still doing reversion to the mean at that time, but that would have been a beautiful entry for this latest leg up in Bitcoin's price. And shout out to the members who took that particular swing position on the longs. But otherwise, we did very good with the range up until right now. Yesterday, entered into a long. And then as I woke up this morning, I did see the beginning of the significant sell-off, ended up exiting my position. And then this morning, the trade that hold on, let me rephrase that more correctly. This was last night. Last night, we took the long swing position, took that at the daily close. But that's not the trade that I wanted to take. I wanted to take the trade from the weekly time frame perspective of this movement failing. This is the area that I've been looking at for a while. I've been waiting for the weekly 1355 cross under. I've talked about the pullback that we can often get the correction back up to that area of cross under when we do get that maneuver, when we do get that movement, when we do get that signal. And that's something that I watch and wait for. Now, granted, the true reality here is that we have not gotten that signal right here. But there's the trade setup. As you guys can see. And this will make a little bit more sense when I put on the CC EMAs. Obviously, we've been talking about this for quite some time. Cracking EMAs. All right, so here we are on the weekly perspective. It seems like we have too many EMAs. So we'll take the baseline off and we'll modify because we don't need that. And we don't really need that either, although that's not hurting anything. There we go. All right, so as we can see, we've got our 13 EMA, which is hovering right above our 55, threatening the downside. We only really need 1, maybe 2 slightly bearish or lackluster weekly candles that to actually give us the cross under. We can see here that Bitcoin on the weekly time frame consolidated at the 100 period simple moving average. Although very similar to the 21, I've talked about this before. The 21 is a great trend confirming indicator, and you can generate some very good signals from it. And it's a pullback for the 1 hour time frame. We've talked about that. Scalping or re-entering continuation longs in the direction of the dominant trend, utilizing the 21 exponential moving average. We talked about that before. We showcased that in the hourly time frame. We showcased that strategy in conjunction with time transformation, in conjunction with either the Bollinger Bands or volatility expander. Although I'm going to have a preference for volatility expander as it's my creation and not somebody else's creation. Overall, I want to say about the market and kind of market participants, I think that I'm seeing a lot of unnecessary. It just always happens, right? We can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boring weeks, and finally a movement to the upside. What's looking so far to be a nice green weekly bullish candle, an exciting daily bullish candle that we had yesterday that closed pretty strong, not on excessively high volume. I will say overall, not on excessively high volume, but interesting. And the market tends to lose their mind. These are often the moments in time when people make the worst decisions, right? And I know that from just kind of scanning crypto Twitter, and I know that from just kind of having some conversations overall in the Discord. Some individuals really struggling with this movement to the upside. Some people really struggling with this price action that we're experiencing right now. And I think that largely it's because this is often the case when people have been trying to execute trades in a tight range and having some period of success. They often, for some reason, for whatever reason, some gear in their head that some gear of patience in their head, I would say, for just holding a position and waiting for higher prices, or just allowing their trade to play out the way that it's intended. For some reason, for some reason, it seems that switch gets damaged in their brain and their circuitry, and it's hard to flip that switch back on. So I think this is why it is so critical to utilize that time when Bitcoin's price is boring, to hone and develop your primary strategy, which I've always thought should be trend following, right? Because otherwise you're going to find yourself attempting to execute a scalping strategy or a reversion to the mean strategy or a reversal strategy in a market situation, in a market condition that is just not conducive to you, to that giving you an edge. And this is why, again, in PTP, in the group, this is what we do. We develop our primary daily strategies first and foremost. And then once you have that locked in and you've achieved a level of profitability, you can then begin to expand to other things, because otherwise you're going to find yourself having issues switching back and forth. The issue between switching back and forth between trading strategies is not a matter of your strategy sucks or you're a terrible trader. You need a rule base. You need a rule set. You need rules. You need objective signals, objective things to happen to tell you exactly when to act and when not to act. So for me, I would love to see the weekly 13 cross under the weekly 55. That would justify this current trade setup that you can see right there. Remember, if we go back and look at the previous time, back in 2018, when we were descending from Bitcoin's blow off top here on the weekly time frame, you can see that as we got right, we saw this, we already saw this beforehand, right? We can see that the first time the 13 EMA comes down to the weekly 55, all right? We can see the price does rally, closes out of a tight range, closes 2 bullish weekly candles to the upside, and then rejects. We finally get the cross under, price corrects back to the 21 weekly EMA, and then we're off to the races again. We see something very similar in reverse for the correction to the upside. And again, we're seeing that exact same scenario over here. That's why, well, hold on, let's walk through this in steps. That's why as we came up to this level last night, I was monitoring this. I had been waiting for this level. I had been talking about executing the short sell from the weekly 55, from the weekly 13, from the weekly 21, although the weekly 55 was my kind of primary area. But as you can see, we violated that area. We have traded above that area. We've actually we didn't close the daily above that level, but we have now traded above that area. And I do want to see price come back down before we re-enter into that trade. So we took the daily PTP long signal last night, and I didn't want to. I didn't really want to take that trade because my discretion, this is the discretionary breakdown trade that I've been setting up for a while. I've talked about it for a while. I've talked about it a lot. So I was really excited to take that short. So, but we see the big bullish, nearly unshaven candle breaking out of a range, and that is going to be your classic signal for a breakout. You know, when a candle trades above a range high or looks like it's breaking out of a range, and it gets sold back into immediately and closes bearish or closes with a long wick to the upside, often that's going to be a rejection. But when you get a candle on good volume that breaks out of a range and closes quite strongly, nearly unshaven, so no wicks, that's often a genuine breakout to the upside. And you have to tell yourself, Bitcoin is known to melt faces when it just continues to pump to the upside. It is known to melt some faces. So let's see if we get our face melted off with this trade. And it was that time. So the daily candle closed. I did my trading. And then I left the computer because that's my evening routine. I go spend time with my family. I go spend time with my daughter, put my daughter down, returned to the charts, saw that my face was not melted, and put on the trade that I wanted to trade. And then today, as we're watching order flow today, I'm working on some development with my guys. We saw a kind of a second significant wave of bullish volume come in off of this dip. This was kind of the interesting price action that we saw. We had set up our, we had been short from the $7,900 region. We were short from 7,900 last night. We longed from, it was a little under 7,850 last night, closed out that trade in small profit as price went to the upside. Because obviously we were able to close, again, we opened the long around the daily close, so right a little under 78.50. And then when I returned a little while later, we were trading in this range. Price hadn't continued to just carry off to the upside, so we just closed out. And a little bit later, we put on the trade that we wanted, which was actually we were right here, yeah. So we were able to get in right around 7,900 for the short. So today it was pretty exciting watching price come all the way down to the $7,700 area. We can actually go over to the hourly and see that this is basically trading a little bit underneath our hourly 21 exponential moving average, which we've talked about as a pullback strategy in the direction of the dominant trend. We don't actually have the hourly setup. We'll look at that here in a second. But anyways, price comes all the way down. And then again, we get this very strong bullish engulfing candle, completely taking that away. And so we closed that trade. I'm actually flat right now and looking for this hourly confirmation to potentially pick up a long position if we are going to push higher. So now my metric for my trade has not changed, but I am not going to sit. I mean, there's no necessity to sit in an underwater position. So again, if we go back, what we can see is the correction to the upside was a little bit more pronounced. We did actually close above the weekly 21 EMA, and then we actually began the significant sell-off. That's an excellent opportunity for this particular setup. So I'm going to watch and see if either we reject from the 21 EMA or if we close above that 21 EMA. And that's where I'm going to be putting on my position. At least that's my plan for my discretionary trade. Or once we start trading back below the weekly 55 EMA, that's going to be my signal to enter into my trade. So I've taken my first stab at taking the trade that I want. Price action did not agree, so I decided to sit on the sidelines. I'm still hedged again, as I've said before, I'm still hedged. So overall, playing this with quite trepidation, because again, this is where a lot of people are going to make mistakes, and that is not what we do in the group. So keep them unshaven. You guys are silly. But anyways, on the daily, we've got a Wadatar explosion, powerful signal. Minx is in the overbought region. We are trading above the daily 100 simple moving average. I think the only thing above us that's very pretty much interesting is going to be the weekly 200, the daily 200 simple moving average, giving you a potential target up there of about 2%. So for the swing trade, thank you, Common Man. I appreciate that. So for the swing trade, I don't see a lot unless you are, unless you're just banking that the Bitcoin's going to continue to melt faces, that we're just going to continue to just move to the upside. There's going to be no selling. There's going to be no pullbacks. There's going to be no retests. Then I don't see the long potential of the swing trade. Again, if we kind of look at the weekly, what's kind of our maximum upside here to the daily 200, we've got a potential upside of about 2%. From here, we've got maybe 5% to the upside. So again, decent swing trade. I think you could probably generate that on the hourly or the 4-hour. Sorry, they're reading the comments. So I think you could probably generate this trade setup on the hourly or the 4-hour trade right here. Again, if we go for no volatility, or excuse me, if we go for a non-rising explosion level right here, let's take our EMAs off actually, and let's just look at base strategy on the hour. Look at our baseline. We are going to be able to take a trade right here. Wadatar explosion is going to be closing above the explosion level right here with Minx and CCI giving us the go ahead. Again, this is going to be an hourly setup. Looking at Quadriga, we can see that that gives us upside targets of around 81, 87, and managing risk right around the baseline. So that's going to be a 2-to-1 trade on the hourly, looking for that swing up to around 81, 87, maybe 8,200 if you run with a trailing stop. Other than that, looking at the 4-hour, looking for the setup, the 4-hour is actually going to give you a nice continuation entry right here to the long side. We're going to get, you can see that this candle would have pushed you out of the long that one could have taken. Yeah, right here is where you got your last, move into the upside. 4-hour CCI is still quite strong. So this is actually a nice bullish engulfing with a Wadatar powerful signal with the rising explosion level that we could be looking to take on this candle right here. That would be a little bit more, that would be a little wider. That would be pushing you up to about 83.61 and 77.92. Now I'm still overall, and this might sound silly, but I'm still overall wary of taking long trades in this range. This area still seems fraught with peril for me. I'll feel a lot more safer. I'd feel a lot more safer being completely bullish, right? I'll feel a lot more safer being completely bullish if we go to the weekly and bring back our EMAs. Once we've cleared all of this overhead resistance, let's say, once we've cleared all of this overhead resistance, let's get rid of Quadriga right here. Once we've cleared all of this overhead resistance, and we've retouched this level as support, because I think it's very different. I think the breakout range is very different from how we consolidated at the end of 2018, at the beginning of 2019. This seems very, very different from me. This seems very different to me. So, and again, how do we put this? If the hash ribbon's buy signal is as powerful as it's going to be, that means there's almost, there's quite a bit of potential upside here if 6K is the Bitcoin bottom, which I'm not sold on yet. If 6K is the Bitcoin bottom. So I lose nothing by being patient and waiting for real confirmation on the higher time frames that we've gotten a real break of this range. And until then, I have to remain tentative and I have to remain cautious and I have to be very, very careful about being about pushing for the upside, because what we've seen is, if you want to be traditional, if you want to look at candlestick structure, haven't seen any higher lows, haven't seen any higher highs. So far right now, we're just going to be gearing up to make a lower high. And that has to be your perspective. That has to be your overall bias until proven wrong, I believe, right? You trade in the overall direction of the trend. And what has been the most successful setups over the last 5 months have been shorts, right? So we haven't gotten a significantly higher time frame break of trend here. And I think that it's going to do people a lot of help. It's going to avoid individuals getting confused or into poorly placed positions if they keep that in mind and look to trade in the direction of the dominant trend. Now, the daily, again, will give you some good entries. And the daily is giving you the capacity to go long. Gave the capacity to go long over here, potentially a re-entry right here. Finally, with a rising explosion level on the daily time frame. A little speculative about taking that because, again, the major upside here for the two, we have this 200 simple moving average again on the daily, which might butt us up into some resistance. But looking at that, again, just looking to take the WADA powerful signal, that would be pushing price up to 88.50, 85.63, and 82.76, which would be pretty nice. A little bit of an overextension of that, of kind of that push above the weekly 21, but it wouldn't be insane. It wouldn't be out of bounds. We could see price stretch up to there. So for that reason, and with that on the table, that's why I'm no longer in this position. So closed that today after price sprang back after reaching that low of around 7,700, came all the way back up close to entry, ended up closing that. I think it was actually like $10 below my entry. So But that's okay. It would have been nice if I had constructed that trade on the hourly. If it had been a scalp trade, then 7,700 would have probably brought us home all the profit, and that would have been a 1% risk trade at full take profit. But that wasn't the case. That was, again, this trade right here, looking for the downside to 5,000, looking for the big trade of 2020. So we'll see if we get it. We'll see if we get it. With great reward comes throwing jabs. Getting back down to the hourly. Let's throw on the right. So getting back down to the hourly, we do have a potential 0.5% risk to the upside on this confirmation of Water explosion closing. That'll be at 1227. Let's go down to. Let's actually throw on not our traditional strategy. Let's actually throw on new intraday and look at our intraday strategy. I need to update that because that shouldn't be BB. That should be volatility expander. And we'll just kind of take a look at we'll just kind of look at daily volatility. So again, for those attempting to trade in the direction of the, let's say the 4-hour or the daily trend, pull back down to the hourly 21 EMA. Again, we talked about that before for continuation. And then, the only thing that was not the most optimum about this is waiting for that kind of continuation signal from time transformation, like a crossover, which we did get. I don't know why that is there actually, which we did actually get here. On the very next candle. So again, that strategy right there would have put you in for an entry. And if price is going to go push, let's actually go over and look at the fun zone right here. $39 million volume delta to the upside. Very, very beautiful. Liquidated shorts getting wrecked right now. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm pretty sure I just heard the scramble of mouses clicking over to the ByBit chart to put on a long trade. We'll check in here and see if we're going to be able to get that trade in 30 minutes or if it's not going to be our trade. Looks like it might be. Looks like it might be our trade. Let's see how strong we close. Checking out tensor charts right here. 16.8 thousand to the buy side. Yeah, we did see the volume actually delta change. So again, saw the volume delta signal coming over here. This is something that I'm currently backtesting here and here, and we saw it coming over here. And unfortunately, that was a wrecked city right there. But just beautiful volume, guys. Just beautiful volume. I've seen this as high as 24,000 BTC today. Ooh. Bears are getting wrecked right now, guys. I like it. Short sellers trying to get the maximum opportunity peak right here. I got to pull up the chat because I can't see what you guys are saying. Ron Legato says, that gear in my head has half the teeth broken off. RK says, Justin, so you are currently short? No, not at risk, my friend. B-Flow says, I tried to get a subscription for your channel on Twitch and it said that the channel wasn't set up for Prime subscription. Well, it definitely should be. I'll fix it. Sweet Canary says, hi, some think that for 2 to 3 years, Bitcoin Cash will do better than Bitcoin. What do I say? Thanks. Also, as the euro is due to go down against the dollar, what do you say it is good to put one's euros into? So I think that I was just having this conversation this morning, right? And you know, I know that I probably come off like the wrong way when I say this, but you know, I've been in Bitcoin since before Bitcoin Cash was a thing. And when I first got into Bitcoin, I remember the big blocks debate. In my opinion, there is no substance to Bitcoin Cash, and there's no substance to BSV. And the only people who say that there are people who are attempting to shill that stuff on YouTube, in my opinion. Like, that is the only place that I see people saying anything remotely like BCH can overtake BTC. To me, like, when I hear that, like, the people that I talk to, like, that sounds ludicrous, right? It sounds beyond ludicrous to us. I mean, there's no candle. I think that people who put their money into BCH. So, okay, let me put it this way. I have no problem trading BCH, and I have no problem if individuals want to pick up a position in BCH. But I think that looking for, it's potential that BCH will develop its own kind of unique use case. I guess that's possible. But as far as security and hash rate right now, no. So I disagree with that. I disagree with the people who say that. When you look at development, I mean, there's just there's no argument. I mean, big blocks lost the scaling debate with BTC, and now they have their own chain that they can't even maintain very well. You're speculating that the euro is going to go down against the dollar. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that speculation. But what would be a good idea to put your euros into, as always, would be to figure out the best way for you to diversify your portfolio. So again, I own stocks. I own some real estate. I own cryptocurrency. I own precious metals. And these are all just classic ways to diversify and protect yourself from overdue exposure to holding fiat. But any first world country that you live in, whether it's Europe or the United States or anything, they're gonna the value of your fiat currency is going to go down given enough time, because they inflate their currencies. They introduce artificial supply into the monetary system. So this is why you actually, unfortunately, need to invest your money, and why you can't just stuff cash in your mattress, because as the government prints more money, the purchasing power of your fiat currency is going to deplete. So you're forced to invest instead of save. Fiat currency, the way that it's currently structured, disincentivizes people from saving money. I'd say those sellers were overcome right there. Good stuff, man. I love seeing big price movements on stream. I haven't, it's been a while. Common Man Crypto says, man, the wisdom you're dropping right now is worth 10 BTC for real. Thank you, man. The psychological factors, I've been burned a few times in those situations. It's almost like you need a trading partner to bounce ideas off of. Yeah, I think that's what's great about, our community and how we get to trade with one another and view each other's opinions. I think that's all fantastic. I mean, that's how I became a better trader. I became a better trader when I started listening to people around me. I built my own trading strategy, but then I listened to actual input from other individuals. We might be getting close to a pretty strong rejection. This might be it. Oh, we did strike that point of control. Huh. I guess I forgot about that. Think about it here for a second. We've got $81.20. A little bit more patient, I think. I'll fix Twitch Prime subs, or I'll ask somebody to. I'll do my best. Oh yeah, 24,000 to the upside. I think that's sexy. This is about the best we could ask for. Yeah, I like it. I like the R. Oh, beautiful. You see how the point of control, that daily point of control, is identical with the weekly 21 EMA? That's beautiful. You can't really ask for much more. Yep. We're going to sell it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you guys have ever seen me put on a trade live. Oh yeah, you guys have. You've seen me do it. Probably a bunch, actually. Hourly close above 71.20 invalidate, or excuse me, hourly close above 81.20 invalidates. And then we wait. All right, nothing to do right now. And let me calculate my max. For 1 sec, guys. There's proof of trade. People say that all the time. Oh, sorry, not the right one. Okay, that all looks good. Sorry, guys. Had to construct that. Boom. Okay. Jason says, yeah, I agree, man. Trading should be simple. Boycott ByBit. Transfer your funds to Mt. Gox. Yes, the best exchange out there. How does liquidation relate to price direction in the short term? It really depends on the strength of the trend, but overall, typically, when you start seeing a lot of liquidations, it can often be a turning point in the market. Because that is, if there are large orders, whenever you're triggering lots of stop losses, you are filling liquidity in the opposite direction, right? So if you push price all the way up and anybody who's short gets stopped out, their position gets forcefully closed, well, there has to be somebody to take those positions over, right? So they're buying. Institutional order flows limit sell orders, right? Market sell orders, excuse me, because those orders have to be executed at market. Cryptonomics says, do we see potential pullback or resistance at 8,400? The weekly 21 is coming in at 8,160. Let me auto. The daily 200 is not coming in until 92.17. So no, not really. VPVR has got our big chunk right here, kind of an upside. I wouldn't say, no, I don't see anything special about 8,400. So taking out the accumulation range of Bitcoin then. One particular thing would be to see the daily close above the retest and then holding this level as well. If one wanted to be pretty bullish, holding long until a daily close below the point of control at 79.59. We've got upside targets of 8,600 in that case. So we'll see. Whoa, excuse me. Jason says, remember the CME gaps on the 15 and 30 minutes. Peckham, I'm sorry, man. I did not get a chance to respond to you. I've got so much going on, man. We're building so much. I've had a lot of meetings this morning. Did 2 mentoring sessions this morning. Trying to get this project that we've been building rolled out. Hourly's going to close in 10 minutes. And you've got momentum long signal and reversion to the mean on the other hand. You got kind of the best of both worlds. You're going to need your higher time frame directional bias. Which I think if you're living on the daily right now is going to be to the upside. But for me, still got a hankering for that trade. And that's why I took the position that I did. So it's 1% risk. And it's as simple as that, guys. put on a trade, and then whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You don't know a priori whether you're going to be successful or not. You need to become comfortable with that. Where do the order books get sourced from? From the exchanges. It's not as exciting when you're not in position, though. This is true. The 1 minute Renko chart. Wayne says, chat's much more active today. We go bullish for a week and everybody shows up. Love it. Wayne Art, XMR USD. If one of the moderators could please put that in the Q&A. Prophet Bear says, hit the like button. LOL. This is actual live trading. That's why it's not talking. We are experiencing a historical event together. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it, my friend. Saying to smash the like button and join the Discord. How is crypto bubbles looking? Let's go find out. How is the crypto bubbles looking? We want to look at performance. Well, we can see the USD value of everything up on average. I'm going to say 5 to 9%. Hypercash, SNX. Who's the big winners? What do we got? Let's look in. Oh, sorry. Let's look in valued against BTC. Of course, everything's down. LA token. LA Blue Girl. All right. LA token down quite a bit. Kyber Network, which was pumping quite nicely yesterday. Riggedy wrecked. Let's look at, again, dollar valuations are up quite nice. Again, we can see here that sorry, I wanted to get, I didn't even go over the metrics, the daily metrics for Bitcoin. What a terrible host I am. But anyways, Bitcoin having a 5.56% candle yesterday and up over about 10% in the last 36 hours, really. Which means if there's not a number in that crypto bubbles that is greater than 10%, you would have just made more money holding Bitcoin, guys. So still, not quite there yet, altcoins. Don't have an altcoin that is outperforming Bitcoin right now. Now, to be fair, you'd have to combine these dollar valuations from yesterday as well. But, you know, that by definition, that means that the alt BTC pairing needs to be going up for its. If the alt BTC pairing is going up and BTC USD is going up, then that means by definition, the alt USD will be outperforming BTC USD. So, i.e., it's more profitable to hold that altcoin. And if you want to sell it in dollars, right? Wayne says, dump it. Do we dump? Getting ready to drop? I say no dump, not yet. Reversal incoming. Dump it. Price is overbought. Justin, am I going to whale dump on you guys? No, man. You know, listen, I'm not crazy, right? I'm not in my optimum trading condition right here. I'm doing a live stream. I entered into the trade in the ByBit's mobile app. It's 10,000 contracts. I need to be in the comfort of my dungeon with Rick and Morty trap music playing if you guys want me throwing full risk trades around. So it's actually not even 1%, to be quite honest with you. How come the daily VPSV shows a red line, but the higher time frames don't? Because the point of control on the higher time frames is going to be different because you're including more data. So, you know, if there's a daily point of control, we can see that. Like, let's go back and look. We can see that, right? We can see this was an accumulation area. It was also a strong sell area. And it was also the selling initiation area of this latest range that we're currently in on the daily time frame, right? So you obviously have selling here, but this is when the majority of selling occurred. And you can see that from the volume profile. Like there was far more volume by range conducted here, right? So if you're just trading the volume profile visible range, then you would probably want to be breaking 83.59. 8400 is where you might be looking for a turnaround or a breakout trade on the daily range. Right now, we're in the train tracks, right? So as we saw, what did we do? We went very quickly from the top of low volume right here. Went very quickly. This was the, listen, if you guys can clearly see this right here. I've talked about this with VPVR before. I'm going to try and use thick lines. Let's try and make these really thick. All right, so let's scope out what is the highest nodes of this HVN. It's right here, right? So we can see that we spend a lot of time in here. When we get a nice strong close above, and look how quickly this slices through low volume nodes like butter. And again, that daily closed right here, right in the middle of the low volume node, continues to slice through like butter. And now where are we at? Well, we just hit a rock. Okay, we just hit a rock. So what does price do in the train station as opposed to the train tracks? Because high volume nodes are train stations. Price likes to cross across the train tracks very quickly. And price either likes to consolidate or reverse from the train station. Right? High volume nodes being train stations. But hey, we're going to take a quick break, guys. When we get back, need an opportunity to get some water, probably grab some coffee, maybe hang myself if this trade goes wrong live on the air. But we'll be right back, guys. Take the opportunity, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button. And we're going to hear a brief word from our friends and from Jason himself. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Don't get wrecked while I'm gone, okay? I'll be back in just a moment. Also, when we come back, we're going to cover... Hopefully we'll get to the news. Maybe we won't get a chance to get to the news if the market stays so exciting today. But we'll answer your questions. We've kind of been doing that in the order book. I know I'm getting a little distracted. This always happens when the market's a little crazy and busy. When we come back from the break, we're going to give away some lemons to our loyal followers over there on DLive, guys. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Don't go anywhere.
This is Jason when he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Give it back! Give it back! Oh, give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for ByBit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll just say here, if we don't looking at all these looking at all the shorts that just came in, if we don't correct, going to be a lot of big traders who are about to get wrecked. About to get wrecked on another push to the upside. Anyways, let's do what we always do when we come back from break and reward our viewers over there on DLive, my friends. Let's double it up in honor of the exciting activity. Distributing those rewards. Congratulations in advance. Thank you so much for the ice cream, Forza World, my friend. Yeah, so something really interesting over here on Tensor charts. Look at this really rapid fire volume delta divergence. Again, this is kind of a function of Tensor charts that I've been looking at, and we can see. Go back far enough. Want to kind of show the bottom. If you guys will recall, so if we kind of re-summarize the trades that I've put on lately, if you guys will recall, if we go back to the very end of December, so the very end of December, shorted from 72.11. Price dropped down to about 7,100. Yeah, right here. So yeah, got short here. This was back on the last day of December. I remember this. Price came down. We saw positive delta divergence come in. Price came all the way back up to 72.11, and then dropped all the way down here to 6,800. We scaled out 75% of that profit on the way down, and then took the long trade as price came back up because we got stopped out at 71.50. So total profit, I believe we took our last profit at 68.70. So we almost caught the bottom on that movement, but Then anyways, we can see individuals, we can see sellers trying to suppress the price, but it was not to be had. But what's really interesting is this right here. What's really interesting is what's happened over the last kind of 36 hours. Not even the last 36 hours, the last maybe 30 hours. Is this first run up, the peak, this sell off, and then the decline. Again, this is around the range where we put on the initial short. Well, we longed this and took profit, and then, or sorry, no, we longed this and took profit, and then shorted, and then watched price do its thing, drop down, and just this morning we started seeing this massive delta divergence come in again as we descended down into the thick order books right around 7,800, stretching down to 7,700. And then we did move up from that on big volume, big volatility. And so it's not often that we see that kind of rapid fire delta divergence. I mean, you've got big money trying to flex right now. Exciting. I love it, guys. I love trading. Okay, let's see who won. B-Flow. Man, B-Flow getting a big... B-Flow getting a big win today with 51 lemons. Ricky T getting 29.8. Forza World TV 21.8. Congratulations, man. Wendy, thanks for the lemon, my friend. Time to make some lemonade. You did not miss the booty, sir. So we're gonna have to take. I feel like we got to cover the news, man. We got to cover the news. Well, we're just not gonna get to it. We gotta start doing this show. You guys have allowed me to run the live stream right into nothing but trading. All right. Let's get all set up here. Okay. So let's get the news out of the way, guys. We can return to the exciting charts with today's Crypto Currently segment. And here we are. All right, so the first story coming from Trust Nodes, one of the better ones out there for the good stories. Now, this is going to be talking about Ethereum and decentralized finance, the DeFi network, Compound, and MakerDAO. The founder of Mythos Capital recently tweeted that there is now about 3 million Ethereum locked in the DeFi ecosystem, setting the stage potentially for Ethereum to become the world's first bankless business system. Bankless banking system. Say that 5 times quickly. Bankless banking system. The staked funds. So for those of you familiar with how DAI works, you deposit Ethereum, you collateralize Ethereum, you over-collateralize Ethereum, and you receive DAI in return. Now, one thing that I've learned in studying this, obviously, is, of course, that doesn't completely expose you. Often people will talk about collateralizing your Ethereum for DAI as a way to lock in the dollar value of your holdings, and it is to an extent. But if you collateralize your Ethereum, at $100 and then Ethereum drops to $20, when you trade back, you just get the amount of Ethereum that you put in. So you are still exposed to price volatility. It's not a foolproof way to hedge your funds, or else everybody would do it and it wouldn't be effective. Again, everything is an edge. Now, the growth of DeFi, obviously, on the Ethereum network has been rising steadily. Potentially, there are some speculations this is being caused by the bearish market. And by crossing this $3 million Ethereum threshold for the first time, we can say that a new milestone has been reached for the new decade. Now, leading the charge, obviously, is going to be DAI, a decentralized tokenized dollar. It dominates the DeFi space with 2.4 million of that 3 million Ethereum being locked up in just the the MakerDAO smart contract application alone. And that represents about $330 million at current market value of Ethereum locked into the DAI application, which translates into a market cap of 110 million for the multi-collateral DAI and the single collateral Psi tokens. Now, the runner-up in the DeFi space, and I've actually been I got a chance to talk with a lot of individuals building things around this platform during San Francisco Blockchain Week, is going to be Compound, which is another smart contract network, which has a far less amount of Ethereum, 360,000 committed, but still represents a respectable $50 million worth of equity. Now, unlike Maker's DAI, Compound initially debuted with the feature of locking numerous Ethereum-based tokens in addition to plain Ethereum, which can be locked up in order to draw borrowing capital. So it's essentially a borrowing platform with the integration of ERC20 tokens as well. However, with DAI clearly having the first mover advantage in the DeFi space, it has secured the majority of the market share of Ethereum's DeFi operations. While DAI's market share is slightly falling as new DeFi projects are coming online, DAI does happen to enjoy an extended ecosystem around itself. InstatApp, for example, is a service that runs on top of DAI, which aims to smooth out the process of adding Ethereum collateral to borrow dollars. And 310,000 Ethereum is locked on InstatApp, worth about $40 million, making it the third most popular DeFi product on Ethereum, with the decentralized exchange Uniswap a distant fourth, far less locked up in that contract. Now, Ryan Sean Adams, who is an investor and the founder of Mythos Capital, tweeted out, quote, Ethereum is quietly moving from ICO balance sheets to DeFi money protocols. And instead of 1,000 useless projects, this time it's producing the world's first bankless banking system. Famous Bitcoin developer Gavin Andreessen, he even stated that Ethereum has been powering the most interesting things in crypto so far. Quote, I found CryptoKitties. Him and I might disagree about this, but quote, I found CryptoKitties the most interesting cryptocurrency related project of 2018. Pool Together was the most interesting of 2019. I don't know what I will find interesting in 2020, but it will probably be built on Ethereum. Now, this is kind of interesting as we have seen the focus of Ethereum shift from the ICO craze and the speculative bubble of building and investing in the better blockchain, right? What's going to be the alternative to Bitcoin? What's going to overtake Bitcoin? What's going to get the same gains as Bitcoin? And I think we've largely seen throughout 2018 and 2019 that that's just not going to be the case. They're not going to get there. Their pairings against the dollar have done pretty terribly. Their pairings against Bitcoin even worse so, as Bitcoin market dominance has continued to surge, and we've seen Bitcoin go into a bull market in 2000 as we moved into the second quarter of 2019, and we also saw that what's currently happening now with Bitcoin's price, but overall maintaining a much higher valuation again relative to the performance of altcoins. So I think that the conversation, and we saw the IEO attempt in 2019, which really did not get off the ground very far, largely pumping and dumping. And so we've seen a pretty significant shift. I think that the focus of those who are developing on top of Ethereum and utilizing and leveraging their decentralized network are shifting their focus again from, and this is a good thing, I think, they're shifting their focus from building something to compete with Bitcoin. I think that largely the community has agreed that that's just not going to happen. Bitcoin has not only the first mover advantage, it has the security, it has the privacy, it has the branding, it's non-fungible. All of these things, it's censorship resistant, and it has the most secure network. It's designed as a value storage platform. And I think that we've had that debate. We've had that argument between payment network and big blocks and store of value and settlement layer. And I do believe that the cooler heads have prevailed, just as we won with the UASF. So instead, the focus turns to, okay, how can we not worry about building an alternative? How can we focus on building something that is actually usable and has real use case right now? Banking the unbanked, providing financial services to individuals without having to go through traditional finance. And that's where we see the focus of Ethereum shifting to now, which I think is great, because I think that that's a genuine use case that actually raises my opinion of Ethereum. It actually raises my opinion of Ethereum. So keep up, DeFi guys. I met a lot of you. I met a lot of interesting, intelligent developers in San Francisco for San Francisco Blockchain Week. Really interesting what they're developing over there. And again, I think that people who are interested in the ecosystem, participate, right? I remember back in 2016, 2017, where, interesting ideas or cryptocurrency things would come online and I would just go try them out, right? Just to get exposure to the space and just to be involved. Because if we're going to support our own space, then we actually need to put our time and action and sometimes money where our mouth is. So let me know what you guys think about DeFi. Let me know what you guys think about Ethereum. Is this a good pivot for Ethereum? Is it a bad pivot for Ethereum? Is Ethereum still focused on things that it shouldn't be focused on? Definitely let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, moving on to a little bit more trading related action right here. I want to give you guys an update on the underwater Bitfinex Bitcoin Whale, who the last time we spoke was underwater to the tune of 25 million tendies. 25 million tendies, ladies and gentlemen. And now has swung to an unrealized profit of $7 million. Really just emerging from the water right there. So kudos and shout out to whoever is pushing the buttons over there. Heavy Autumn Wolf. Just a few weeks ago, we did report on this Bitcoin whale on the popular cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex, who at the time appeared to be a victim to the latest bearish trend, resulting in his account being underwater to the tune of $25 million. Now, he has rebounded back to the top of Bitfinex's leaderboard, currently sporting a new $7 million in unrealized profit. Now, while Bitcoin's price may have been in a downtrend since June 2019, this week's surprise rally may mark the beginning of a trend reversal potentially. This is obviously what's on the lips and minds of everyone, vindicating this particular whale's long position and potentially marking 6K as the bottom of this recent decline in price. After spending several weeks in $25 million or more drawdown, yesterday's surge to 8,000 has likely provided a measure of relief to user Joe 007. And with price consolidating now around 7,800 and poised, well, actually, we're a little bit higher, and potentially poised to take out the weekly resistance of 8,500 by Sunday, this could give bullish traders the confidence to take price to the upside in coming weeks. Now, because Bitfinex is a margin trading platform, had the price of Bitcoin continued to fall, Joe's position may have been in jeopardy of being liquidated. However, with margin levels much lower than BitMEX's 100x, for example, the price would have likely had to go extremely low in order to liquidate this particular long position. Now, with his status on the top of the leaderboard again, it seems far more likely that this trader is not an amateur and weathered the storm like a pro. You need those. Sometimes you really need those. Those cojones of titanium, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Joe is obviously reaching pretty legendary status in the cryptocurrency trading space, with his bold tactics being credited for driving Bitfinex longs to the highest that they've ever been. And some are now going so far as to say that this one whale is in part responsible for pushing Bitcoin out of the depths of the downtrend. And if that is the case, then let us all have a moment of clapping for the whale who saved Bitcoin. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much, Joe. In the arms of the angels. Now, it'd be really tragic if I had to report back in a couple weeks and say, Joe, if we break down from here, Joe, after climbing back up from $25 million drawdown, swung back to the bottom of the BitMEX leaderboard. Now, our final story for the day is going to be another update on something that we've talked about before. And this is stepping into the realm of politics, but this is a follow-up on our reporting of the BTCE / wicks exchange drama that unfolded something like a spy thriller. We talked about this when a BBC investigator claimed to have revealed links between Russia's spy agency, the Federal Security Service, or the FSS, and the collapse of the wicks cryptocurrency exchange in 2018. Now, as a quick recap, BTCE was notoriously shady. It was a Russian-based exchange from the early days of the Bitcoin scene that developed a reputation for serving a criminal customer base. Following a bust in 2017 by the FBI, This bust saw the mastermind of the BTCE exchange arrested in Greece, and the exchange quickly relaunched under a new name, WEX. WEX was run by BTCE former tech lead Alexander Ilyuchenko, who would later find the Russian FSS coming down on him to secure the trove of funds that BTCE had accumulated, as well as their user database. Now, fast forward to today, thousands of bomb threats against public facilities have been reported in Russia over the last few weeks, leading to several evacuations. As of now, the threats number in the thousands. District courts in large numbers of major Russian districts have had to be evacuated as a precaution, according to a city court official speaking to Interfax. Now, in late December, malls and kindergartens were also targeted, with the number of evacuated people totaling some 770,000 in Moscow alone, after threats were made to around 8,000 buildings in the city. Now, those making the threats are demanding that Malafeev, the Russian billionaire, identified as the supposed handler of Billy and the go-between for the Russian spy agency, that he pay back the Bitcoin that he and the others responsible for this takeover of WEX reportedly stole from WEX's BTCE's criminal customer user base. Now, there's more to this story there is more to this story than we will likely ever know. How deep do these dealings go between Russian businessmen, the FSB and WEX? It's unclear. We don't know, but it was likely a multifaceted operation. One which has caused $450 million worth of Bitcoin to effectively disappear. Now, with WEX having served the Russian underworld and involved in many high-profile criminal activities, from the Ukrainian separatist movement and even the 2016 Democratic National Committee hack that potentially, that some say cost Hillary the election, it seems the individuals involved are clearly highly unscrupulous and motivated to extort the Russian government or the spy agency into returning what they consider to be their stolen Bitcoin. Now, as the Moscow Times reported in November, Russia's Federal Security Service, the FSB, was apparently using the FSS was apparently using the exchange BTCE and WEX as a piggy bank, when they took over WEX. With the BBC investigator even revealing recordings of this oligarch Malafeev, discussing how WEX would fall under the FSS's control. The criminals, bitter of their Bitcoin being confiscated by Russia's spy service, are now resorting to bomb threats in an attempt to recover their funds. Now, if you thought ransomware was bad, imagine the disruption that thousands of bomb threats across the country are now causing. In the end, this probably is not doing any favors for the cryptocurrency industry within Russia, which has increasingly taken an adversarial stance against the space, with Being Crypto reporting in late November that the government was planning to issue a wholesale ban on all cryptocurrency payments in the country, despite the fact that while they gear up against cryptocurrencies, they are investing heavily in blockchain technology and infrastructure. So it's a very, 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 straight up out of the movie situation that's going on over here, ladies and gentlemen. Why would you guys want to be anywhere else? You don't get this in Forex, guys. You don't get this in Forex. So let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. This almost deserves, making a dedicated video, maybe with, some parodies, but absolutely do not want to gloss over the fact or make light of the fact that individuals' lives are potentially in danger, and that there is potentially much more tragedy that could come out of this. My thoughts and my heart goes out to individuals that are over there dealing with this right now, and I just hope that there can be some resolution to this situation without anybody getting hurt or without anybody getting really, really hurt. So let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this down there. We try to cover these topics that nobody else talks about. We try to cover the good and the bad. So, but this is important to know, and this isn't doing the industry any favors. All right, so after reaching a high in Bitcoin's price, we are currently in a period of consolidation. We can see that volume has localized out. Bulls tried to make the initial push immediately back. So far, they have seen price rejecting. We've seen the order book come down. We can actually see the order book extremely tight if we can look at the historical snapshots right there. Excuse me. Yep. Volume delta remains negative. And so we'll see which way this breaks. Volume has died off, and we're just waiting for whoever wants to come in and kick the bucket. Got to kick that old bucket. All right. I like the new template. NBT, nothing but trading, baby. Tyler Z says, the fact that everyone here is waiting for a dump means that most likely another leg or 3 up. You know, while that is possible, it's also possible that if you go over to Twitter or if you go elsewhere, that they're insanely bullish. So maybe the group mentality here is attempting to counter trade the group mentality elsewhere. Why do I think BTC is pumping so high? I mean, so 9 times out of 10, I give the sarcastic answer, which is the truth. There's currently more buyers than sellers. But if we're looking for a fundamental reason, I mean, it is possible that the political situation with the tension between the Middle East and the United States, with the trade war, with China's incoming DCEP, potentially with some of this activity over in Russia, we've got a hotbed here where individuals may be feeling that Bitcoin is going to be a reliable store of value. So we had a situation primed where a lot of individuals attempted to short the bottom of the recent market. We had a situation, we can go look at that on the charts. We had a situation where BitMEX funding basically turned negative. We can actually go look on the daily. We talked about this reversion to the mean trade as well. Right here, when the candle closed outside the lower boundaries of volatility expander right here. So that set up an opportunity for the market to reverse back, because typically when BitMEX funding goes negative, that means that the entire market is now finally attempting to short after almost always being long biased. And typically they get punished and liquidity gets tapped and shorts get wrecked when most of the market decides to short. That's only when the majority of the market is going long that price tends to consistently and continually go down. So we had a nice short squeeze position set up, which we've seen over and over and over again. I mean, we saw it here. We saw it here. We saw it again here. And so we were just set up for a nice short squeeze. And then again, we have that coming around right at the same time of some of these fundamental events and potentially some genuine bullishness stepping in. We could see, again, it just depends on what metrics you're looking at. You know, longs versus shorts, you know, social sentiment picking up a little bit. Again, the markets, if we look at BitMEX funding, the market has been overwhelmingly long for a while. Yeah, if we look at BitMEX funding, funding has been overwhelmingly long for a while. Let's go to the daily here. Here we go. BitMEX funding has been overwhelmingly positive, and we can see, you guys can't see it on the daily. We'd have to look at the 8-hour, but you can see right here at the bottom of this, you can see the last 8-hour session did go negative funding, which you often don't see. RSI and pumps and dumps are unreliable, and Breakout, man, be careful. Yep, for sure. OBLS conditions are meaningless sometimes. This is true. Do I use the Windscribe VPN app when using ByBit on your phone? Yes, that's actually absolutely how I have it set up. Yep. Always on VPN, Windscribe app, downloaded onto my phone in the Android set. So this phone right here that you saw me using, this is only for that purpose, right? I've got like six phones over here. I'm sorry, but this one right here is only for trading. It's Samsung Galaxy S7 that I used to use as my primary phone before I got the Google Pixel 4 XL. And then I've got another phone over there that's just for two-factor authentication. I got another phone that's just for emergencies, for family and the closest friends. Other stuff for other things. But yeah, always on VPN settings in Android, and then selecting the Windscribe app. Yep. Jason says, to be honest, I don't have a VPN on my phone. I just use ByBit Mobile. They have never said anything, I guess. You know, BitMEX was the same for the longest time until they weren't. And now if you even try to go on BitMEX with something that even looks like an American IP address, they're like, whoa. Get on out of here with that. Get it? Get on out. Oh, it's restream bot. I need to go over to Twitch. I'm trying to moderate this comment. I guess they just came in, posted that, and ran away. Where's a Twitch moderator when I need them? Xiaomi says, do I want to become famous? By followers, primes, and viewers on follow on bot. No, thank you. Yeah, thank you. It's hard. Is Volume Delta a premium plan on Tensor Charts? Nope. In fact, this isn't a paid Tensor Charts plan. Yeah, you just got to sign up. Which one is the bat phone? That's... With 6 different phones, how do I function in those skinny jeans? These are not even close to skinny jeans, man. Well, you know, it's not that, like, it's just that, you know, I just accumulate them, right? You know, like, I'm really, you know, I treat my devices really well, so they last a long time. And when I'm done with them, I can always, so, you know, I'm pretty much a minimalist. So if I don't need something, I try to donate it or get rid of it or give it away. But when it comes to a lot of technology, I can repurpose it. See, I think the problem with minimalism, one thing with minimalism is that, you know, I was raised by parents that didn't want to throw anything away. Like, they were just not okay with throwing stuff away. Like, that offends them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if you don't have the time or the know-how to take and repurpose something and make it better, then you're just going to accumulate clutter, right? Like, and you can run into situations where you have like a broke vacuum cleaner that you just like have hanging around because you'll fix it someday. No, man, like you're never going to fix that thing. It's going to sit in your closet until you die, and then your kids are going to throw it in the trash. Just get rid of it. Like, you know, having clutter in your house, this might sound, hopefully this makes sense because I really do believe this. Having clutter in your house equals clutter in your life. Like actual clutter in your house causes stress and anxiety, right? You know, rituals are rituals. So if you look at like, where does the term rituals come from? Rituals comes from like religious ceremonies or, you know, whatever, or, you know, pagan rituals or whatever, right? But what they are is it's a certain way to do things to put your mind into a certain state, right? And good states of mind to be in are surety, calm, relaxed, confident, and rituals can help you do that, right? So rituals when you wake up can help you feel confident and help you take on the day. Rituals before you go to bed can help you get to sleep on time, can help you wake up on time. You know, rituals before you eat can help prevent overeating and can help, you know, following a diet plan, for example. Rituals before you exercise can increase confidence and get you pumped up. Rituals before trading can improve your discipline and confidence. You know, rituals before speaking can improve the wisdom of your words, right? So just the simple thing of, you know, think twice before you speak, that's a ritual, right? If it becomes a habit, it becomes a ritual, right? So, you know, having your desk look the same every night, I think that's an important ritual to accomplish. Setting your clothes out, making your bed in the morning, you know, decluttering, these are all rituals that you can do to improve, you know, the effectiveness of your trading. So you can use the word ritual or habit interchangeably, right? One sounds cool. And I think gives better meaning to what we're actually trying to do with building good habits, right? So, so with phones, because I do have the know-how to repurpose them, because I'm okay with phones, I think that's far helpful. But if I've got a vacuum cleaner laying around, like, yes, I'm a pretty handy guy, but like the odds that I'm actually going to take the time to fix the vacuum cleaner are very, very, very minimal, very minimal. Yeah, discipline equals freedom is the one, my friend. Discipline equals freedom. That's one of the best books out there. And as far as skinny jeans, man, I only carry one phone around on me. Phone, wallet, keys. That's it. Phone, wallet, keys. Phone, wallet, keys. Walk out the house, got phone, wallet, keys. Sometimes it's phone, water, keys, water, watch, vape, right? If I'm going to go away for a while, right? I'm just walking out the door, phone, wallet, keys. It's going to be longer than an hour drive. Phone, wallet, keys, water, watch, vape. Get under my skin with the skinny jeans. All right, so let me go to the Q&A section. Let me see what the mods have for me. Got a little bit of a all over the place show today, guys. Oh, wow. I guess I've knocked them all out. Go me. Go team. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, moderators. Crypto Jack, Jason. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. No, I don't know, Don. You know, vacations are always nice, but it's the beginning of the year, so we got a lot to do. I've just been really there's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work the this week. This week. It's only Tuesday, but yeah. Worked late into the night on Sunday, worked late into the night last night. Just getting what needs to be done, my friends. Can I look at the hourly CME? Sure. Here's the hourly CME, and you looking for this gap fill, baby? I know there's a magnet here somewhere. Where's that dang magnet? Could have sworn there was a magnet. Yeah, screw it. Fork and knife. Right there in the middle. Oh, come on, guys. Ah, there it is. Boom. Next, go like next to the talking bubble and the calendar and the plane. Thank you, computer tech. So that's going to be given back pretty much the entire day. .45% potential downside. And no really good place to manage risk. Does not seem... That's my TP3 though. But I'm just going to have to manage risk on the hourly via momentum. I utilize the 4 hour to calculate my hard stop with Quadrigo. Just worked out the top price of 2020. Save this. 22,479. Well, now it's on stream, man. It can never be taken away. I bet I do terrible on those Facebook. Find how many horses only have 3-leg pictures. Do I use the Ichimoku indicator, and why might I use it in re-exit? I've definitely utilized the Ichimoku indicator before. I've got a tutorial on how to utilize the Ichimoku and the version of the Ichimoku that I created on TradingView. That's here on YouTube. You can check that out after the live stream. Actually about to wrap up the show, guys. It's about that time. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Ichimoku system. I mean, I feel like I've graduated from that. I don't actually use it in my active trading right now. But I think it's one of the best places to start. It's one of the best standalone indicator suites that you can utilize. I mean, you've got multiple indicators in one, especially if you start figuring out how to use the Chico span, the lagging span. Adds a lot of nuance to your trades, and you can customize it. You can change your smoothing options. I think there's a lot to like about the Ichimoku trading system. I think Wayne, actually, before I end the show, I feel like there was something that I didn't get to. Oh, hold on. These are all crossed out. I don't know if they're supposed to be crossed out. My bad. Okay, it's trying to answer these questions. Common Man Crypto says, we're still hanging around the logarithmic 382 retrace relative to 2019 bull market. I'm going to have to trust you on that one, my friend, because I don't do Fibonacci. Wayne Art asks, XMR USD later on, Justin. Thanks in advance. No problem, my friend. Let's go look at the Monero dollar over on Finex. The first thing I want to do is keep it simple. Here we go. XMR USD gave a long signal here or here, depending on whether or not you're using rising explosion level on the daily. So from here, set you up for a total gain of about 17.38%. We don't have an exit signal right now, so one would just continue to hold this trade. Looking right here for entries, I don't really like this. We are attempting to, let's look at VPVR right here. VPVR is attempting to flip this high volume node right here. It was the initiation for this buying, it was the initiation for this selling, and this bit of selling right here. So we are right above the top of this previous range. We are attempting to hold this current high volume node. So for this, I'd like to be a little patient, very similar to where Bitcoin's price is at right now. We can see we're trying to flip this current area into supply instead of demand, which is how it is currently reacted. We went right above the top of the high volume node. Not a stop loss on it because this is XMR USD, so we don't really have the incentive to short sell it, just the incentive to spot sell it. But again, we went right above the high volume node, blasted through it actually, right into a little bit of a low volume node and rejected, which is often what we can see. So let's see if we can get our baselines all the way down at 52.68. See if we can get anything in the form of our EMAs. I guess that is the 100 SMA. I don't really like that on the daily. That is where we did reject over here. Yeah, I would like to see so I'd like to see us consolidate here for a little bit if we are going to continue pushing up. And again, this is going to depend heavily on Bitcoin. So I think you can kind of determine the future direction of these with BTC. Again, if we look at the BTC valuations, we can see at least over the last 2 days that it just would have been more profitable to trade BTC because we can see XMR USD beginning its sell-off. And this is kind of what we saw. We saw the altcoins begin to move up a little bit prior to Bitcoin, which again, one could consider as a potential bullish signal. And now we're seeing some of these, like XMR, for example, one of the majors, sell off a little bit, but getting bought back up pretty quickly. Again, I would be biased to see some consolidation. Proper BTP trade, one would have been in this already. Nice volume signals, water tower explosion, giving us exactly what we're going to do, being patient and waiting for a nice setup like that, a nice clear breakout trade to the upside. And so, yeah, this is not, for a trending long, this is not an entry for me. For a continuation long, we don't have any of those metrics here on the table. Reversal baseline bounce down at 52.68 is what I would be liking to see right now. Or if we want to look at this from a level of supply and demand, again, I'd like to see a few, some consolidation at this level, and then a strong close back above this range would be a good flip of supply and demand. So again, we just kind of zoom out. This seems like kind of the first significant area where we want to hang out. As you can see, when we consolidate below this, we did this again back in 2019. And this is where we were pretty much below in the run-up beginning in 2017. So we've only been below this level one time. When we first started off as a coin, when we came down to the depths of the bear market in January 2019, and actually we made a higher low than we did back in January of 2019. But also did not make a higher high. Unfortunately. So here we are right back up at our previous level of support, which crashed through, got flipped into resistance. We made it a little bit higher, but still struggling with it right here in Mr. Monero. So still not fundamentally bullish on a lot of these, although this is good volume, so I won't deny. But again, all of this is going to depend heavily on what happens with Bitcoin. Thank you, Wayne, for the question, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. B-Flow, we already talked about the Twitch Prime. What is my weekly baseline? 20-period Hall moving average. If Bitcoin closes above the weekly baseline, will I go long? No, I'm watching the 21 EMA right now. Sweet Canary, we already talked about this. How does liquidation relate to price direction in the short term? We did talk about this. Can I look at XVG? Ricky asks. Sure. Yeah. Not a big fan. So for a swing trade, I don't really see anything here for a swing trade. We just broke down from the point of control again. We're in a clear downtrend. The only thing here that slightly does look positive that I could see is looking at the volume profile right here. It does appear like we are at the market bottom. This is, we can just zoom in right here. We are sorry, zooming out here a little bit more. Again, you can see here, high volume node is right here. This previous accumulation area before Verge kind of went on a run up. Not fundamentally bullish on Verge. I think it's kind of a not a good coin. But we have a high volatility daily candle, a bearish selling candle on. Let's go look at the volume actually. Yeah, on not massive volume, but rising volume. Rising volume as prices moving down is, I don't want to say bullish, but it's showing a weakening of the bearish trend eventually, especially at a market low. So we are approaching this market area, this market bottom. We can see this denoted by VPVR. There was a lot of accumulation here previously in this range. Fortunately, a lot of selling as well, because that's always what happens at the bottom. So if you had a more long-term view of Verge, I think you could take, if you were looking for something low risk, you were looking to hold Verge, I think this is the area where you would want to do so. Or just look to be playing this kind of range here that we've been bouncing along. So looking for a range trade back up to, let's say, back up about 30%, back up to about 57 sats. Now that we're down here around the 43 sat range, trying to stretch for anything below 40 sats and daily closes below. You can just use Quadriga ATR actually to manage your risk, or daily closes below 35 sats. I would exit the trade. So I think that in that sense, your downside is less than your upside, especially if you can get that entry. It's really only 1-to-1, so you're going to have to manage your risk better than that. Yeah, I don't really like that. I don't really like being unable to manage my risk like that. So you could just take I think the other better way to do it then would be if the daily closes below that level, then you can exit and look for a lower reentry on XVG. But this is not really the setup that I like to take. I don't really see the again, the increasing volume as prices moving down is a sign of more buyers stepping in to fight against sellers. And it's coming down to a pretty significant level. So, obviously it's kind of hard to get excited about alts because they haven't really done anything. And Verge is responding not very well to Bitcoin's bullishness. But you've got the high volume node right here. You've got the market bottom. You've got the rising volume as price moves down. You got some decent factors in here. Eddie George, can I explain delta divergence, please? I'm here. It's the way that Tensor Charts has programmed it. It's a Tensor Charts thing. So it's looking at, it picks a certain area, and we can just go to Tensor Charts and read it from there. They explain it a little bit better than I can. So we're going to go here to volume studies and delta divergence. And actually, sorry, let me go to Tensor Charts, delta divergence. It watches order flow and it picks a high Studies. Price and volume delta divergence. Here's the code. Yeah, here's the code actually right here. But it's watching to see when the order flow dramatically shifts from aggressive buying to aggressive selling, essentially. And then it picks a parameter. It notes a parameter as a max number. And whenever the delta between buyers and sellers goes over that level, meaning that a large chunk of buyers or sellers has stepped in, whichever, then it marks that as the new high. And then when it goes above that, you get a new high. And when it marks that, you get a new high, right? And then it will give you a divergence on the other side. So right now, if we look at sensor charts, if we go back and look, what we've seen is in these key areas, the delta between the amount of market buys and the amount of market sells has shifted at those three areas to sellers. All right, so the question is, stutter step or ticket to the downside, guys? Hope you guys trade safely. I think that's about it for me. We are pushing past 2 o'clock right now. And no, Boris, Volume Delta is not a premium plan that you need. You guys can get it for free. All right, so with that being said, we're back, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. I've been your host, Justin Wise, for Cracking Cryptocurrency. If you guys have any questions, comments, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, make sure to leave them in the comments section down below. If you guys would like to trade along with us, if you guys would like to learn how to build your own optimized trading strategy, if this then that trading strategy, as well as all the other material that we have on deck, you guys can check out what we do in the group. If you want to join a community of traders who want to support you, have your back, and help you reach your goals, again, premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. That is what we do every single day. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out and consider giving us a follow over there on Twitch or D Live, my friends. I will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I will see you guys in the Discord. Until then, make sure to trade safely. Do not get wrecked in whatever trade you take. Remember that you do not know a priori. That's in advance for you guys who do not know. You do not know ahead of time whether a trade is going to be successful. So what is the most important thing? Remember, we're talking about a game of statistics. Position sizing and money management are king, ladies and gentlemen. So it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong on a trade. It matters how much money you lose when you're wrong, and it matters how much money you make when you're right. So optimize those, and you'll see the improvement in your trading dramatically change. I've been Justin, guys. Trade safely, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.